Hello, Trey.
Hello, Travis.
We are now broadcasting the second episode of Favored Terrain,
My favorite
a
terrain.
tabletop RPG podcast where we talk about anything and everything tabletop RPG related. And Trey has left the building. Oh, now he's back. There we go.
Sorry, I realized I didn't shut my door all the way because I'm like, why am I hearing Grey's Anatomy in the background?
Oh, that's funny.
And I was like, I don't understand.
That's funny.
So I was like, I need to go shut that. Did you ask me something?
No, I was just saying our your favorite tabletop RPG podcast where we talk about everything tabletop RPG related, and Trey has left the building.
Yeah, man, I'm out. That's the highlight. I'm out of here. I'm out on a high note. Let me get on the YouTubes so I too can see what's going on.
Okay.
Oh, well, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. I've been really excited for this year. Wait, what is this? No, I don't want that. This here podcast. Last week was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly. Quick question though, I just pulled up YouTube. Why's the episode called Shut Up Kai?
What is it supposed to be called?
Simic hybrids.
Well, then I completely researched the wrong thing.
Pray tell, Travis, what are Shut Kai?
And I don't even know. You saying that out loud makes me think I completely Shadar Kai. That's supposed to be an R at the end of that sentence, or that
Okay.
race. It is a race of elf.
Yeah, it is. It's a Shadowfell elf, and that's not what we rolled last week. In fact, I can pull it up and double check.
No, I just remembered it was a weird word, and I saw that, and I was like, oh, that must be it.
Well, remember, buddy, we are streaming this on YouTube and on Spotify, so if you ever need to go back and catch anything that you missed, you can subscribe and follow on both of those platforms.
Yep.
Oh, that's the best.
That is
the best.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, but at least you knew it was a race.
Okay, what are we talking about this week?
Simic, Simic, hybrid, like the word hybrid.
And this is a race?
Yes, it is. It is under the races on dndbeyond.com. Not a sponsor, but they should be.
Oh, and there it is. I just had to scroll down a little bit further.
Just a little bit further.
Oh, my goodness. I was all excited to talk about this elven race. I did my homework.
He actually did his homework.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, maybe we could do a twofer.
I mean, we might.
You could tell me about your race, and I'll tell you about mine.
I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that at all.
Okay. Well, since you do know what we're talking about, here I'm gonna kick us off with a little housekeeping. Welcome to the second episode of Favorite Terrain. I am Travis, and the other beard.
I'm Trey. Sorry, I didn't know if I was supposed to talk or not.
No, you could talk whenever you want. You could talk over me. I don't care.
Oh,
cool. Yeah, so this is episode 2 of Favorite Terrain, where we talk about anything and everything tabletop RPG related. We are 2 longtime DMs, and we just, whatever knowledge we have of DMing through the years, we just kind of share it. Our opinions, our thoughts, our story ideas, our character ideas, and whatever experiences we have. We're just going to sit here and talk about it.
Yeah, we are. We're totally are.
Yes. You can find us in all the places. We are on YouTube, if you're sitting here watching us live, that's probably the best place to catch this podcast because you can comment and we'll take your comments into the episode, talk about them if they're worth it. And you get to experience it live. So if you're over here on YouTube watching this live or after the fact, make sure you hit subscribe and the like button because that helps us. If audio format is more your thing, we're now over on Spotify. Episode 1 got put up the day after. I was not expecting it to go up so quickly, Trey. You the man.
Well, like I said, I've really gotten into audio editing and stuff like that. I've been doing like my own little personal audiobook projects and stuff like that. So yeah, I've really gotten into audio editing. So I'm pretty quick. Hey, Velociflaptor in the chat. What up, buddy?
Hey. Yeah, so you can find us over on Spotify. If you do and you like it, give us a follow. That helps
And
us
rate
out.
us.
Yeah.
5 stars.
5 stars. Is that a thing on Spotify?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. You legit can rate people. Rate
right.
shows.
Yeah, we'll do that. Do that thing. I think that's all I got. TikTok, Instagram, and Patreon.
Oh, yeah, we're all over the place. Two Beards Play, find us, baby.
Yeah. And Patreon. If you want any of your topics discussed, Patreon is the place to do it. Over on our Patreon, we take any suggestions as top priority, and anything over there, we'll be so stoked to get a suggestion on Patreon that will just jump to the front, I'm sure.
Oh, we definitely will jump. If someone wants us to talk about something specific, we'll say, forget our stupid thing. We're going to talk about your stupid thing.
Yeah. So consider that any tier of the Patreon, which I think we're going to do an overhaul on that. Which
yeah, I was going to pull it up. Like, are we still focusing mostly on table scraps? Yeah. I think just a little bit of tweaking. I like the tiers of the different beards.
Yeah, we can keep the titles the same. But
yeah, and all that stuff. But we need to change like the prizes and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, got some fun ideas. I think would be worthy of subbing to the Patreon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get started. I'm going to let you go first, Trey, since you actually know what we're talking about. And that is the Simic hybrid.
Yeah, Simic hybrids. The way we kind of pick our topics until we start getting suggestions from patrons and stuff like that is that we have this giant wheel. If you watch us on the video, you saw last week our giant wheel of topics, and we rolled it, and it came up on Simic hybrids, which are a race in 5th edition. They've actually been around for a hot minute at this point. The interesting thing about Simic hybrids is that they fall in a specific area of D&D that some people, I'm sure people use it because it's where we got cool races such as Luxodons and Minotaurs and Centaurs and all that. But it comes from the Magic the Gathering crossover, where D&D actually put out a book called, I think it's Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. And let me just go ahead and apologize to the Magic the Gathering fans out there. I know very little about Magic the Gathering. And no,
Same.
I did not do my research before this episode. So, I am aware that Magic the Gathering is an insanely popular card game, and I have played it. I am garbage at it. And a friend of mine, when I said, hey, what would you say to someone who's considering getting into Magic? He says, my advice for someone who's getting into Magic is don't get into Magic. Like, so he was like, it is not a casual hobby. And I'm like, oh, well, interesting. So I didn't. But the lore behind Magic the Gathering is very interesting and all these different kinds of things. And like I said, I haven't gone too deep into it, but in Ravnica, in the D&D world, it is there's all these different guilds, and one of the guilds is the Simic Combine, and it does a good job of explaining it right here at the very beginning of the Simic hybrid area. on D&D Beyond. It says the Simic Combine uses magic to fuse different life forms together. In recent years, the Simic Combine has extended their research to humanoid subjects, magically transferring the traits of various animals into humans, elves, and Vidalcan, which are another race from the Ravnica setting. The goal of the Guardian Project is to build a Simic army of soldiers perfectly adapted to a variety of combat situations. These hyper-evolved specimens are called Simic hybrids, though they sometimes refer to themselves as Guardians. So the lore behind the Simic hybrids is that their guild, the Simic Combine, magic experimentation, and basically made them some mutants. And yeah, that's the basic idea behind it.
All right, and so when they refer to themselves as guardians, are they talking about the Simic Combine guardians of that?
Yes, that is my understanding that they are like foot soldiers for the Simic Combine, and so they are guardians of their guild and all those different kinds of things. And the idea is that these are humans or elves or elf-like creatures. It says specifically three things. That Simic hybrids come from humans, elves, or Vidalcans, which are another thing that I don't want to get too much into because it would warrant a whole nother episode. So you take one of these three specific races and you start doing magic altercations. Like if you go to the D&D Beyond page and you pull it up, you see this obvious elf creature that he looks like a sea elf, like he's blue and fancy looking and all of that. But from his shoulders spring two giant lobster claws that he uses as second pairs of arms. So the idea is you are one of these and you have adaptations that have changed you permanently. There is no going back once you become a Simic hybrid. The mental state of these creatures is ambiguous. Like, a lot of them are all about, yes, we must protect the guild, we must protect the Simic hybrid and fight for them and all that good stuff. But it also says that some of them leave the guild and go pursue other guilds and stuff like that. So they are independent thinkers. So you have to wonder, is the Simic Combine doing this purely on volunteer basis? Or is it sort of like we got you now?
Like, what initiated the desire to have a change?
Yeah, like, do you want this? Are you seeking after this? Because we've had people play characters that are very much about changing who they are in a very deep, deep way. You know, we had a big traitor happen to us, and he was all about becoming more than human, if you remember him.
Yeah. Okay. So looking here at the character or the race description, so what does that look like in game? I'm seeing that at level 1, you get some options for your I guess your adaptiveness. What has changed? So the first one is a manta glide. You have a ray-like fins that you can use as wings to slow your fall or allow you to glide. When you fall and aren't incapacitated, you can subtract up to 100 feet from the fall when calculating fall damage, and you can move up to 2 feet horizontally for every 1 foot you descend. That's really cool. So basically, you got a built-in feather fall for up to 100 feet.
Yeah, you got feather fall, and the idea is that you've got manta ray wings that extend from you, and you just sort of glide through the air. Although I, as a dungeon master, would call shenanigans a little bit because I'm like, manta ray wings only work as fins in water.
Yeah, but it's probably going to be like one of those skydiving suits with the flaps, you know? That's kind of how I see it.
See, I would have been like, you can use it as like a feather fall type of thing, or if you're in water, you get a swim speed or something. You know, you just use your manta fins to and take off. Anyway.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is not, I put it to you this way, I have never come across a player or anybody for that matter that has said, ooh, I want to be a Simic hybrid.
Yeah, no, this is, I've never encountered this race, so this is all new to me. But this is really cool, and I love the possibilities as far as like role playing and coming up for a reason why you wanted to go through a change. or join this I'm gonna say cult, not really cult, but kind of like a cult.
Yeah,
You could play it,
basically.
yeah, you could play it out like that if you want, um, and have your body change. And I love the fact that you can, for the most part, I know it says humans, elves, and Vidalcan, but I would kind of open this up to other races as well
Oh
as
yeah.
a DM.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
you could
I'm
be,
just. I'm good.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, be a Simic hybrid, and maybe they chose these certain races because, say like certain races you get really cool benefits already, and you don't want to probably as a DM have characters like stack crazy animal abilities. Like this is horrible example, but in Kote's game, I'm playing the rabbit race, and I can't the hare or whatever, I can't remember the name of it.
Aaron gone.
Harengon, yeah. And one of my natural abilities is a rabbit hop that I can hop. It's 2 times per long rest. I can hop up to 10 feet, without provoking attack of opportunity as a bonus action.
Well, dang.
Yeah, and
That's
so
like no disengage.
yeah, and so to stack that with another manta ray ability, or even giving myself nimble climber, which is the second option. You have a climbing
Oh
speed
yeah.
equal to your walking speed. You got to kind of keep that check. So I can understand maybe that's why they listed those races to be, hey, like these are the races that we accept. Maybe
As these.
as the combine. Um, and as a DM, you can kind of role play like these are the races that have the genetic makeup that you know they're kind
That
of a blank
work.
canvas. They accept
Yeah.
these changes better. But yeah, nimble climber, you have a climbing speed equal to your walking speed. Um, that could get bonkers pretty quick. Like,
Oh yeah. Like once you get up to 5th level, it's like, oh, okay.
well, this is first level, so
Yeah.
I
And then
mean,
the next one, underwater adaptation, you can breathe air and water, and you have a swimming speed equal to your walking speed. That's stuff that I've known people to look for in campaigns like from the beginning, and it takes forever because you don't just get that ability, the being able to be amphibious,
right?
you know.
Yeah,
And
there's
swimming speeds are crazy. And just to sort of camp out on the whole speeds thing, if you don't know, in D&D, you have a basic movement speed, which for the average is 30. That is like the most average 30 foot per movement. But that is simply walking. Simply walking. If you
yeah,
try to say swim, you move at half speed, which is 15. And same thing with climbing. It's like drastically reduced because you cannot move like that. So when you get something like climbing speed, that basically means you can go up a wall as fast as you can walk across a room. And so being able to do that is pretty dope depending on how your DM is throwing it at you. I know if I was doing underwater stuff, I would do anything in my power to get a swim speed before I went down there, you know?
right. That's a whole lot of rules you're not going to have to make.
Yeah, not even to talk about the hold your breath functions that we got to do. Because God, man.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So, question, like a DM question here.
Yeah.
And I could go and look up. Let's see. Actually, do I want to pull that up? No, I'm not. I'm not going to pull it up. I'm just going to see what you say. So you have a climbing speed equal to your walking speed. So as a DM, what do you interpret climbing as? Is that just vertical? Or are we talking about you got spider abilities where you can like climb upside down? Or are we talking about, are we got little suction cups on our hands and toes?
Yeah.
Well, how do
I
you
think
take that?
I think a lot of that could be flavor. Now, when you're talking about like spider ability and be able to go upside down, I do think that is a specific other thing. Like it says climb, meaning you are on a vertical
Okay.
plane of existence. The moment you try to go upside down is a whole nother story
Yeah.
because you are in theory upside down with very little to grab onto. Now, I would in my brain, because like my dungeon master brain, the only thing that I came across that naturally starts off with a climb speed are tabaxi, the cat people. So I picture them as doing it like a cat. They have claws, so they're able to grab on things easier and jump from one thing to another. We've all seen cats do that, where they think they can just go up the curtains, and
Right.
they get pretty far, and then it doesn't work out very well. So there is
I think
obviously
that's more
limitations.
I think that's more difficult terrain than their climbing speed.
Yes, exactly. It's not the fact that they can't get up there; it's the fact that it's a piece of fabric.
Yeah.
It's not a thing, a climbable thing. But so yeah, I would kind of flavor it depending on whatever that would be. Like if we're doing these Simic hybrid things, and most of these things are aquatic enhancements, it appears to be. I would say if you're able to like climb like that, then you've got like, I don't know, like crab legs or something that help you like skitter, and you're able to grab multiple places and stuff like that. But then again, that increases your DC if you're trying to go up a rocky mountain. That's one thing. But if you're trying to go up a brick and mortar wall that is very smooth, that's going to be even harder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the way I would do it. If you wanted to go more amphibious and you were more of a frog Simic hybrid, maybe you do have the suctiony thing. Or if you went straight Spider-Man, you would just have the spider things like Tobey Maguire.
Right. Yeah, I think though in the context of nimble climber, the climbing speed probably should just stick to a vertical climbing terrain. And I don't know, I feel like that's the weaker of the three options for level 1, because I mean, being able to basically jump off a 100-foot cliff and be fine is pretty bonkers.
Yeah.
And to be able to breathe air and water is pretty bonkers.
Yes, it is.
But you can climb a tree a whole lot better than most people. It's cool, I guess.
I guess it really depends on the way your campaign is going and what your
Right.
DM is doing. You know, if they're doing something where there's a lot of mountain terrain and they're sticking hard and fast to the rules of survival and all of that kind of stuff, then yeah, climb checks and acrobatics become very important very quickly. Because that's the thing about having a climb speed. You don't necessarily have to make acrobatic or athletic checks to see if you succeed.
Right.
Unless it is difficult terrain, you just kind of do it.
Yeah. Yeah, like
So suddenly you're the guy going up there tying the rope to a thing.
right. Or you're like, hey, I'm gonna climb this tree and scout out the area.
Yeah, you
Okay,
don't
you
roll
do
it,
it.
just so you do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have a speed for that. There's no reason why you cannot get up there.
Yeah. All right. So those are the three options at level 1. That was really cool. So in a perfect, this is kind of a side note. In a perfect world, I have all the free time to do all the hobbies that I would ever possibly want to do. I would love to, and probably under the banner of Two Beards Play, start coming out with some like officially like branded homebrew content.
Oh, heck yeah.
I think it would be pretty cool to come up with some add-ons for this race, some level 1 just come up with some level 1 options and some level 5 options, and just like, hey, here's some extra content, you could use this for your game.
I think that would be great. And the great thing about D&D Beyond is that they've got a whole section where you can do that.
Yeah, between that and the DM's Guild.
Oh, yeah.
where
Yeah.
you can-
I mean, I imagine we would put the stuff we want to put out there for free on D&D Beyond, but anything that we put a lot of work into and kind of want to be like, hey, pay us if you want, please. Like if we ever sat down and put together a whole campaign setting, that would go to the DM's Guild.
Right, or the Patreon.
Or the Patreon. Ooh.
Yeah. We need to have a business meeting, Trey. I think we just struck something there.
I think we did. I think we've got a great campaign setting already we could work out.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump to 5th level.
Mm-hmm.
All right, at 5th level, your body evolves further, developing new characteristics. Choose one of the options you didn't take at 1st level, or one of the following options. Okay, I didn't read that sentence. That's cool. So you can take another one of the options from level 1, or you can have one of these new options. There's 3 here. So grappling appendages, which I think kind of fits into the picture that we're looking at here. with the guy with two giant crab arms coming out of his shoulders.
Yeah, yeah.
You have two special appendages growing alongside your arms. Choose whether they're both claws or tentacles. As an action, you can use one of them to try to grapple a creature. Each one is also a natural weapon, which you can use to make an unarmed strike. If you hit with it, the target takes bludgeoning damage equal to 1d6 plus your strength modifier, instead of the bludgeoning damage normal for an unarmed attack. Immediately after hitting, you can try to grapple the target as a bonus action. These appendages can't precisely manipulate anything and can't wield weapons, magic items, or other specialized equipment. Yeah, so you can't be like Goro over here with, sword in each hand.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. I'm like,
Yeah.
You want to talk about getting OP fast? Put a great club in every single one of your appendages? Oh, no.
But that does mean, from my takeaway, is that if you got two of these claws or tentacles, you can, I would say you can grapple up to 3 people at once.
Yeah, I was about to say grappling. Yeah, in theory, you could grapple up to 3 people at once, or you can grapple someone really well and then use your normal arms to stab at them.
Yeah.
And then you get advantage on it because they're grappled. So that's, oh my gosh, that's bonkers. Because I'm like, what if you put that on a barbarian? Oh my God. Dang.
Yep, that's intense.
All right. See, that's why I love doing this show, because now that we're actually reading through it and thinking about it, we're like, wait, hold on a minute.
Yeah. All right.
So would you go claws or tentacles?
I mean, it's just kind of style preference at that point, because they do the same thing.
Well, if you, Travis, were making a Simic hybrid and you got to 5th level and you were like, I really want one of these grappling appendages, would you go claws or tentacles?
I feel like I'd go tentacles.
Yeah. I of course, would want to homebrew and make a Simic hybrid out of a dwarf, and he'd got to have them claws, baby.
Yeah, I could see a dwarf having claws. That's very dwarf.
And I would style them to be those very knobbly, spiny, dungeon-esque crab claws,
Yeah.
Where they're just not. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm gonna mispronounce this word. Carapace?
Yeah, carapace. Good job, buddy.
Okay. Your skin in places is covered by a thick shell. You gain a +1 bonus to AC when you're not wearing heavy armor.
That honestly doesn't sound that awesome to me.
Well, what I'm taking away from this is you don't get the bonus if you're wearing heavy armor. But it doesn't say that you can't wear medium or light armor and get both bonuses.
That's very true. It just says specifically heavy armor.
Right.
Okay. That makes light armor almost a little bit more worth it.
Right. You get the light armor and then all your little soft bits exposed.
Bonus. Yeah.
Are kind of crusted over. And then the last one, acid spit. As an action, you can spray acid from glands in your mouth, targeting one creature or object you can see within 30 feet of you. The target takes 2d10 acid damage unless it succeeds on a dexterity saving throw against a DC equal to 8 plus your constitution modifier plus your proficiency bonus. The damage is increased by 1d10 when you reach 11th level and 17th level. So 11th level is 3d10, 17th level is 4d10. You can use this trait a number of times equal to your constitution modifier. Minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses if you finish a long rest.
Oh my gosh, a dwarf would be a perfect Simic hybrid. Like I don't know how you guys make characters out there in podcast land, but I think of my top stat always as my highest, and then immediately Constitution. There is no question for me.
I mean, especially if you're playing a dwarf.
Well, yeah. See, that makes sense if you walk the path of the dwarf like I do. But just in characters in general, like people always complain, "Oh, I'm the squishy elf mage," because you didn't think about Constitution.
Right.
Your con directly influences your health. So if you don't want to be squishy, dump stat con, and you won't have these issues. Anyway, side note. But oh my gosh, you get up to 4d10. Okay, so maybe 17th level is a bit of a stretch because I don't know of many people who actually get all the way up there. At least we've never
Right.
gotten that high. We've gotten only to level 15 before.
Personally, yeah, my last campaign did get to max level, and we finished off after max level.
Nice. Okay.
But that is very rare. I
Yeah.
doubt I'd be very surprised if I ever get to that point again as a DM.
Yeah.
That was my unicorn group.
Yep. They were truly unique. I want to hear stories about that's going to be another one of our topics, the unicorn group. Let me add that to the wheel real quick. But yeah, 11th level is very achievable. I feel like that 10, 12 area is kind of where a lot of people live in D&D for a while. Hello, the wet sponge.
Welcome to the podcast, sir.
It's
madam.
fun when people pop up in the chat because you see their name and you want to say hello, but then you have to say it in your head before you say it out loud in case it's like a say my name and it's a dirty word kind of thing.
Been there, yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's fine. Okay, add one. Where did he go?
Oh, you're adding unicorn group?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Unicorn group. Boom jams. They are officially on the wheel.
All right. Yeah, let's talk about kind of going back to you talking about a dwarf being a fantastic Simic hybrid.
We're gonna break the rules. I love breaking the rules.
Yeah, what would be some other? I'm gonna pull the races here. Some other good.
Dwarfs would be good, man. Because if okay, I would stylize him with like a Davy Jones squid beard. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, I wonder if you really want to like flavor it, like if you get the appendages and you do go with tentacles, like that could be it. They could be coming straight out of your beard.
Straight out of your beard, and then you're grappling people with your beard as you're just waylaying on them. Oh man, that would be dope.
That would have to be the best pirate campaign. Like you are a legendary, or I mean, that could even be a good big bad evil at the end, like the guy with the tentacle beard.
I think we're also like, you know how people will take characters from movies and stuff and put them into D&D? I think Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean would be a Simic hybrid.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He even has a claw hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely do a dwarf because, oh man, that acid spit and that carapace could get kind of crazy in the grab. Ooh.
Yeah. I'm kind of just skimming the overall page here.
Oh, also,
yeah,
your con is when you become or when you are a Simic hybrid, your con goes up by 2, so you get a con boost out the wazoo.
Your con increases by 2, and any other ability increases by 1. Yeah,
that's nice. The wet sponge says watching this during VBS right now.
Fantastic.
Oh. Just make sure that you memorize your scriptures, buddy. Because otherwise they'll be like, why aren't you paying attention?
Yeah, I'm just kind of skimming the races here.
Obviously the elves, but if you really wanted to throw in some homebrewing flavor, since there's like 24 types of elves now, you could get cool with it. Like if you did a drow and they were like a Simic hybrid anglerfish, with the little lantern thingy hanging off their forehead.
Oh, yeah.
That would be pretty dope.
Yeah. That would be an answer to a like a light situation, because it's the deep dark.
Yeah.
I would, as a DM, I feel like I would have to keep the idea of an organization basically guinea pigging a certain race wherever they're at. So if this group started up in the deep dark and all they had to pull from was drow, experimenting and then coming up with hybrid animal characteristics that would fit that setting. So that angular that fish light type deal, I think, would be a good one down there.
You get a deep gnome and you just sort of like make them a Simic hybrid with a blobfish. You seen
Yeah.
those really gross things, the
Yeah.
blobfish?
I think another deep dark one could be like an echolocation.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Which would essentially just give you what's the next one up from dark vision? Is it true vision, true sight, or something that you can see?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like it's true sight. Yeah, but yeah, like being able to see all the way around you through stuff is kind of
Yeah, I think that would be cool. Like you could use I don't know, a bonus action or something to make a really good perception check.
Yeah.
Or some kind of check where you do the echolocation thing and around corners, you know, you can get a count, you can get, I don't know, some kind of
Can you
in
imagine
complete darkness.
Yeah, imagine how terrifying it would be if you made like a bad guy or an NPC do this, and your characters are trying to find their way, and then they hear clicking in the darkness.
Oh.
Like just that, you know, and then you're like, what is that? It's very off-putting.
It takes me back. Did you watch Moon Knight?
No, have not.
No, you haven't?
Have not.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm okay either way. You can tell your thing.
You sure?
Yeah. I mean, if I'll watch it, I'll watch it. I'm telling you, there are so many things going on right now. I can either keep up with Star Trek, Star Wars, or Marvel, and I'm not picking Marvel right now.
I got you. Well, even if it's not Marvel, it was a very good series. The lead guy,
I've heard great things.
The lead guy and his acting ability, it was phenomenal. But
I've heard great things.
There's one part where they are in the in a Egyptian tomb or whatever. I'll just kind of be vague about it. But they have some mummy guardians of that tomb that had their tongues cut out, I guess, when they were mummified. But they are like undead guardians at the tomb, and they make that clicking noise because they can't see anything because their eyes are out as well, and so they're like clicking around, making that noise, you know, going about, and I'm just like, oh, it was just creepy.
Yeah.
Sorry, my phone was dinging. I didn't want it to come up on stream. But yeah, like imagine like traveling in a pitch dark tomb or some kind of underground dungeon or the Underdark, and you just start hearing that clicking noise. You can't see anything. You can't see your hand in front of your face, and like you just hear echoing off the walls. Click, 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 click.
Just a clicking noise. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
we did Aarakocra, I would make them Simic hybrids with penguins. Because I was like, you can't do birds and sea creatures. I'm like, yes, you can.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to open this up to other races besides human, Vidalcan, and elves, you could get pretty creative with it, man. Like,
yeah, and I think you could go just race by race and just kind of think of something fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yay D&D. Yay.
I think a good Haragon one would be like a jackalope to get horns and get like a charge, or you know, it's a natural weapon. You could like start headbutting stuff.
Yeah, or you could like make him one of those shrimp that like punch things. You know?
They basically like break the sound barrier with their punches.
Yeah, and just like, you know, like that'd be great. That would be dope. A furbog would be like a hermit crab for me. I would just put a big old spiral thing on his back.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. That's funny that you bring up that shrimp crab thing. Because I was talking to Chelsea and I was like, yeah, it's like one of those things that can basically punch something to death. She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, yeah, there's like a shrimp or something that can.
Is that like you mean most things?
Well, no, it punches so fast that
it kills it. Like
that it kills it. It like Anyway, and she's like, "What are you talking about?" Anyway, so he pulled up like a documentary on
Is
it.
it the guy who's not really doing a documentary? He's
Yes,
doing. Yes, I love that guy so
yes,
much.
and it was hilarious. She was like, "Oh my god," because yeah, like it punches so fast and so hard, it just like heats up the water, and it just like
Yeah, and it creates air underwater. It punches so fast.
yeah, and I think that
It's bonkers. Turtles wouldn't work anyway. Um,
that's funny. You said that as soon as like, what could we do for a turtle in my brain?
nothing. You give him a bow staff, and he's a hero and a half shell. That's about all I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we've got kind of going off a little bit, just a little side note. As a DM, I wish we had a more, wow, like a werewolf class. Like the shifter kind of is like
Yeah,
trying to do
kinda.
that.
Yeah.
I wish we had like an actual or some kind of mechanic for changing. Because I would like to keep it where like if you change, there's like a trigger, and you don't remember anything afterwards.
I think it's gonna happen because they've already done stuff for vampires. So if you've
Yeah.
done vampires, the werewolves can't be far behind. I think the issue they run into with the lycanthropy is that there are so many were creatures in D&D. You could be a were anything, basically. So if
Which
you
I think
did
is all the more reason to open up to an actual class because I think there's plenty of options there.
oh yeah, yeah.
Homebrew content coming from Two Beers Place soon.
Yeah. So you want to be a weasel in your next campaign.
Weasel. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to have like if you're playing a small race, have some small animal types that
Yeah.
you can change it to that are specific to that. Because badgers are no joke.
Man, were-badgers? Are you kidding me? Oh my god. One of the first things I ever fought when I started playing D, I think someone threw a were-rat at us, and I was like, what? Excuse me? Like, I was just blown away that... Oh, because I'm like, in the world of lycanthropy, nothing is more getting the shaft than a were-rat. I mean, of all the things, were-tigers exist, and you got bit by the were-rat. Sucks. Side note on this Simic hybrid thing, or
Yeah.
I guess back to main note, because the lycanthropy was a side note.
Yeah.
You only get 2 of these animal enhancements. And once you get it at 5th level, you're done.
I mean,
So
they're pretty good. And then, whatever your class is, you want to get all your class abilities.
yeah.
On top of that,
I don't know. I feel like you should throw one more, and it shouldn't be like every 4 levels like this one is. You get one at 1, and then you get one at 5, 4 levels later. But if you doubled up and did it at like 13 or 15, and that was your last one.
yeah.
And
And even like maybe at 13, you still have the same list of 6. You just get to choose another one from the list.
yeah, exactly. Like you just pick another one from these 6, and you're like, oh, okay, that's the other one that I really wanted, but I just didn't get it. So now I get it because I'm higher level, and I'm a little bit more BA about it. Because let's be honest, you could probably pick 2 of these things that'll kind of like make the character that you want, but then you're like, man, if I could get that third thing, it would be really cool. Because if you had grappling appendages, and then you spit acid. while you're climbing a vertical space, everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's a nightmare!"
and you would be.
Yes, you would. You would very much be a evil, nightmarish creature.
Oh man, I wonder. See, and I keep thinking of things like, "Oh, this would be cool," but then it kind of goes into a class more functionality.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if like you had a way to change out abilities, like, every so whatever, you can. I don't know. However, they granted you the abilities, you could like take this special sauce and like just like spells, but animal aspects.
Take this magical yum yum sauce and change yourself.
Yeah.
That is an interesting idea, though, is to take a race and make it a class, or take a class and make it a race.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm. All right.
No. Yeah. So I had an idea since we're getting further on into the episode now. I thought what might be fun is when we hit a race, you and I, since you already brought up putting things out there on, original content and everything. What if we made a Simic hybrid NPC that we put out on D&D Beyond for people to use?
Yeah.
Like we'll just roll it up real quick. Make the character. Well, we'd probably have to make the character, and then I can convert it into a monster later, because it would have to be a monster in the homebrew section.
Is that I have not dove into the homebrew section of.
Well, I have, sir.
Have you? So you know how that works.
Yes, basically, if you go under collections at the top of D&D Beyond, you see all of the create homebrew stuff on the right-hand side,
Okay.
and you can just create stuff from scratch. You can keep it private, or you can quote unquote publish it or make it public, and then people can search the homebrew stuff and find something. It's like, man, I wish this was a thing, but I don't have time to put in the work to make it my own. Maybe it's already out there.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm seeing that. So create spell, create monster, create magic item, create background, create feat, create race, and create subclass.
Yes, and then you can browse all those things for what other people have made. And I've kind of already done this because I'm like, I don't want to lose this cool thing I've made. If you go under my homebrew creation, since we share this account,
Dude.
you can see all of the stuff that I have already made.
Wow.
Some of it's like kind of on the nose for some ideas I've had, but some of the stuff is truly 100% my creation. Our most popular one that people have viewed the most are the glass eyes of the beholder. So I've made items, I've made races, monsters. I got a spell that's not published because it's a very specific thing for a thing I'm doing. So yeah, the idea I guess would be if we made this NPC character or monster, we could make it as a character, and then I will convert it into a monster later, and I'll even put like a special note in its name or something. Two Beards play, yada yada yada, so people will know this is the one we made on the show.
Yeah.
If you wanted to use them, what you think?
I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah, so a little bit more interactive, and if someone comes across this and they're like, "Oh, that's a really cool thing. Oh, by the way, it's on the D&D Beyond homebrew. Feel free to use it."
That is cool. Yeah, you've been hard at work. I'm sitting here looking at this stuff, and it's bringing back thoughts of things that I've homebrewed throughout my vast amount of time DMing. I'm like, oh, that would be real easy just to throw up real quick. Like, there's magic items. There's I came up with this whole subclass for the barbarian. It kind of mimicked the way that the wild magic one worked. But I titled it like the aspect of dragon barbarian or something like that.
Oh,
and every time you raged, it started off random at first, but I think I had a D6 or a D10 chart that had different aspects of a dragon. Like, for some reason, you made a pact with a dragon, or you've got dragon blood in you, or whatever. But every time you raged, you got to roll on this chart, random at first, but it would be an aspect of the dragon. So that would have been
interesting.
I think wings came a little later down thing, but when you raged, like,
you don't want to give wings too soon,
right? But later on, like when you rage, that could have been an option of like you get a fly speed equal to your walking speed. But like some of the earlier ones were a breath attack if you didn't have it,
right?
Scales, which rose your AC, claws for a nice natural attack,
tail attack, all that good stuff.
What's that now?
Like a tail for a tail attack?
Um, I think you could choose between claws or tail. And then there was this one like an intimidation thing, like a I forget what the dragons call it, but it's like a
Oh,
frightful presence.
yeah, frightful presence.
So yeah, like you basically gave off this aura whenever you're raging, which is appropriate. Like you are
Yeah,
intimidating.
absolutely. Makes perfect sense.
Um,
That's pretty cool. Do you know what's really cool is after you make these things, and if they're public and published, if you have like characters that are in your campaigns and all that stuff, they can use your stuff and it is integrated into D&D Beyond.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like, oh, you made this, like, for instance, I made this one race because a buddy of mine, he's doing this whole origin story of his character is like an Asimar, but he fell in love with this orc girl, and their children are like a combination of the two, and I called them Orsamars. And so I made this whole race. So if you wanted to create a character and I have my homebrew stuff enabled, you could just pick Orsamar and it'll create an Orsamar for you.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Anyway, let's make this character.
Are we gonna do it right now?
Yeah, on camera, man. On the show.
Okay.
You and I can spit out a character real fast. So here's the thing for the video aspect of it. Do you want to show all of this or just have people kind of follow along with us?
Yeah, I'm very ill prepared.
Because if you need to take a minute while I get everything pulled up, you can totally, like, I can do a screen share with you and we can like show the process. I don't mind if my face is up there or not. It doesn't bother me. Or we could just sort of talk through it because ultimately this is a podcast anyway.
Okay. All right. So I'm looking at the monster we have on here, the Treblix Toothball.
Yes.
Is that? Okay. And so basically, okay, it makes one of these little cool character or monster blocks.
Yes.
Okay, so this is essentially what we're doing. We're going to make one of these.
Yeah, well, see, what you could do is when you make a monster, you can use an existing one and modify its stat block, or you can start from scratch. And when it says scratch, it is scratch. There is nothing there. So kind of what I was thinking with doing it would be faster and smoother to make a character, and then I can go in and figure out what type of monster it is. Because you got to pick like type of monster, their CR, their HP average. Like creating a monster is a little time consuming. So I figured let's make a character and then I'll turn him into a monster for tomorrow when the episode hits Spotify. Yeah, I was going to say podcast for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, so what actually are we generating to make this NPC?
We're going to create a character.
So we're like rolling a new character?
Yes. Do you want to take the helm or me? Because we can't both be on it at the same time.
No, okay. Hold on. Let me see.
Don't y'all love it when I throw things at Travis all willy-nilly? All nimbly bimbly, and he's like, Trey and his creativity. I gotta roll with it. Get it?
All right. Create a character. Here we go. All right, let's see. We're going to do a window capture. This is horrible content for the audio only listeners.
Oh yeah. That's why I'm basically gonna try to talk, and I know this is gonna be a little awkward the first time because I just sort of sprung it on you. But if it's something that we like to do, we can be a little bit more prepared the next time we get a race. Because there's a bunch of races. Odds are we're gonna do this a few times over the next few weeks. So the idea for anyone who's trying to get all this, Jack in the chat said D&D is all about improvisation anyway. Correct, sir. That is what we are doing. We are forcing Travis to think on his feet.
I could do just fine in the DM context. Throw this on me here. Okay. You know, we're just
Like I said, if you need to cover me, you cover me. It doesn't bother me.
all right.
Because you guys know what Travis is going to do this week. He's going to create a whole nother layout to switch to in case we ever have to do this again, where it's all nice and balanced and we're both there, but then you can see the character on the screen and yada yada yada.
Listen, I don't need you to be reading my brain right now.
Because Travis is like, I love this idea. This is really cool, but I'm not. I don't. It doesn't look great. I'm not a fan. I'm not
Yeah.
a fan.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. All right. Okay. So I've got the character. Create a new character. All right. So what's this character's name going to be?
You can do names by fantasy name generator.
Sure.
Right there.
All right.
I get everything like 10 to 15 seconds later. So
Yeah. Let's do.
oh, how did they get on D? This is an old one. Like,
This is the only one I've ever seen.
I doubt they have Simic hybrid names.
No, it would be more of a elf. Let's just do.
Well, if we're going to go by simply the rules, he has to be a human, an elf, or a Vidalcan. So I guess
Right.
you could just do those elf names right there.
All right.
Oh, look at these.
All right. We'll do Folus.
Okay.
Omara. Folus Omara.
Yeah.
Just because that was the
Folus
first one I
Omara.
could pronounce.
Yeah, Folus Omara. I'm down.
All right.
All right. All right, Folus. All right, so obviously you want to turn on all your sources and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Rick and Morty, non-core. Okay. Optional milestone. Okay. This is not important for what we're doing. All right. And then go down here and choose a race. Chosen. All right. So your constitution increases by 2 and your other ability score increases by 1. Which one do we want to increase, Trey? I know we haven't rolled them yet.
Right. I'm always the kind of guy where I'm like, I want to roll and then decide what gets the buff, but I guess we got to do it now.
No, we don't.
Oh, we don't?
No. I can come back to it. All right, but we do need to choose what level 1 animal enhancement we want to do. So, Manta Glide, Nimble Climber, or Underwater Adaptation.
Did you give him Elvish as a language?
Yeah.
Okay, so Elvish. Oh yeah. See, this is exactly what we were talking about. Breathe air and a swim speed is so good, man. But that Featherfall glide is so good too.
I can flip a coin because
That's
Nimble.
or I got dice.
Yeah. Evens odds.
Yep. All right. So
Even Manta, odd underwater.
yes, we got odds. So we are the underwater adaptation.
All right. Cool. Class.
Ooh, class. I feel like if you're gonna go with this naturey kind of thing, I don't know. Do we want to do that whole possible grappling, beat you down barbarian idea though?
I mean, hey, this is your rodeo. If you want to, we can do that.
I want to do it because I want to buff him up to like 5th level and get all of that cool stuff. So yeah, make him a barbarian.
All right.
Proficiency.
I feel like intimidation is a go-to for barbarians.
Yeah, gotta be intimidation.
Athletics.
Yeah, that's kind of what I go for
Okay.
in my barbarians. Bump him up to level 5.
All right. Primal Path.
Say I'm kind of following along with you. Let's see here. Primal Path. Wild Ancestral Guardian, Battle Rager, Beast, Storm Herald, Totem Warrior. I feel like it has to be Beast because of the nature of this creature.
Okay. He's going to have all the animal aspects.
Yes.
Ability
Ability
score.
score.
Oh, yeah, you're level 4. All right, we'll do ability score. Unless you know a feat offhand, we'll do
Not
ability
off the
score.
top of my head. Let's just keep it simple because this is really going to turn into an NPC.
Yep. All right, now we can roll.
Yeah. What did you bump?
I didn't bump anything. We're going to go back to that after we roll.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you.
Okay. I can roll right here on screen.
That works.
Okay. All right. So, I'm not sure what the rules are for D&D Beyond, but we're just going to roll the first one here.
Yeah,
Got a
they will give you a
16.
number. Ooh, 16. Nice. And you would just roll all of those and look at your array of stuff.
Yeah. Next one. A 7. Yep.
This is an NPC, so I'm not really that
18.
concerned. Ooh, okay. Okay.
Nice. A 12, not bad.
Okay.
14.
All
Great.
right.
I love a good low stat. And a 17. Man.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Yeah, and we got some scores to increase too. All right. So, right off the bat, our high stat, where are we going with Barbarian?
Dump that 18 into con, man. Let's just lean into it.
Okay, so we're going to give him a 20 at level 1.
Heck yeah, buddy. How often do you get to do that?
All right, next one, 17. Strength.
Going into strength, if we're going to do into the grapple, the 17 needs to go into strength.
Okay, and then we can bump that up to an 18 here in a minute.
Yes, that would be nice.
All right, our next one, 16. Let's figure out what our 7 is. What are we lacking in life, Trey? I feel like charisma, because if we've got tentacles coming out of our body, we're not going to be the town favorite.
Very true. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we're going to be a monstrosity of a creature. So yeah, dump it into charisma.
Okay.
Or wait, isn't charisma intimidation?
I mean, it depends on how you're trying to intimidate. But I don't know.
Let's do it and move on. Let's not get hung up on it.
Yeah. So as a DM, does charisma mean to you like the higher the charisma, the more likable you are? Or is it the higher the charisma, the more influential you are either way?
I think the second one more so, because being light doesn't mean
being
charismatic. Yeah, exactly. There are plenty of charisma. I mean, I hate to use this cliche, but Hitler was charismatic, people. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, he convinced a whole country to go with his idea because he was such a good speaker. So it could be any number of things. You could also be charismatic and feared. Anyway, so yeah.
All right.
So what do we got?
We're going to
16, 14.
We're going to stick with charisma in 7.
Yeah.
All right. So we got dex, intelligence, and wisdom, and we got 16, 12, and 14. I think 16 should be our dex.
Yeah, because if we're going to go barbarian, it kind of goes hand in hand.
All right. Do we want to be smart? Do we want to be book smart or common sense smart?
I think a little more common sense. I like my barbarians to be well-rounded.
All right. So intelligence 12, wisdom 14.
Yep.
Apply ability scores. All right. And now we'll go back here. All right, ability score improvements. So, actually, let's go back even further.
To the very beginning.
There we go. All right, so we got 2 in con, and then we're going to add 1. Go ahead and just add that to our strength to make that an 18.
Yes.
We get to choose a level 5 option. We're going to do the grappling appendages, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, now back to our level up ability score here. Well, let's see what we're sitting at real quick. Okay, so we got a 18 strength, 16 dex, constitution's at 20, intelligence at 12, wisdom's at 14, charisma's at 7. So our only odd number right now is a 7.
You could bump that charisma just to get it to a 0.
Which would that be the next level, or that would be 10 would make it 0, right?
Oh yeah, so you even if you put 2 in it, you'd get up to 9.
Right. And everything else, like we could put 2, we could leave that at a 7 and just take that -2 and then put 2 points somewhere else, because you're going to need 2 points to make a difference anywhere else.
You can put it in strength.
Say less.
2 20s at basically level 5.
All right.
I love this guy, man. Bolas O'Mara, my guy.
All right.
We gotta roll some HP, don't we?
Oh yeah. Let me see. All right. 5d12.
And you want to do rolled. Or you got it on fixed HP.
Ew, gross.
You'd have to go back to the beginning and change it to manual. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Hit point type, manual, confirm. There we go.
Yeah, now we can really make him the monster he needs to be.
All right. Well, we got to roll 5d12. You want to roll 5d12?
I mean, we could also do it on screen if you want to. Because you should be able to. Oh no, you have to go to your character screen for that. Yeah, I'll just do it here. Let me grab my d12s. Okay, there's one. There's one. You can tell I don't play a lot of barbarians.
I typed in roll 5d12 in Google.
Oh, dope.
And got 26. That was
Works for me.
2, a 6, an 8, an 8, and a 2.
2 lows, 2 highs, 1 average. Not bad.
Okay. So we're level 5. So one of those should be max.
Yes.
At level
so
1.
So that would be 12 plus 8 plus 8 plus 6 plus 2.
Can I just click on that? Actually, here we'll do the 4 and then add 12, which will be 36, which is less than what it was at manual. All right, so that's 61 HP.
All right, now apply it, and your con modifier should dump in there.
That is with the con mod.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
All right, background.
What's a cliche barbarian background?
Hermit. It's not bad. Usually barbarians are out in the wild just doing their own thing.
Yeah. Oh, hey, sorry, chat. We got into it. Keith said, "What are you building?" Jack said, "I think it's a Simic hybrid." Sorry, stepped away for a second. Yes, Keith. We the whole topic for the episode has been the Simic hybrid as a race, and we've kind of been talking about it. And we thought it'd be fun to make an NPC and put it out on D&D Beyond for people. So Travis and I are currently making a Simic hybrid, one Bolas O'Mara, and he is a barbarian, and he is a monstrosity. It's crazy. He's got a 20 in strength and con, and he has a grappling ability. And he has 4 appendages.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so languages. What would our old Bolas living on his own?
Well, we know he's already got Common and Elvish.
Yeah.
Can we just throw like Aquatic in there since he's gonna be something like that?
Aquatic is not a language.
How about
Mm,
Anything aquatic.
um, do Sylvan. It's kind of Fey type.
Yeah, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to do okay, alignment. Since this will be an NPC, this is actually helpful.
Important.
Yeah. So, how's old Folus? You a good guy?
Mm, I can roll a D10 and see where we land on the 9.
All right.
All right, let's see here.
It's Aquin. Cote says.
Aquin. Oh, okay, yeah, Aquin would make the most sense.
Which
I got a 3, so I believe in my brain that would make him chaotic good.
3 would be chaotic neutral to the
Really?
list. Yeah, going down the list. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay. All right.
It does the
Chaotic
chaotics, the lawfuls, and then the neutrals.
All right, yeah, that works for me. I was going with like the 9 grid in my head.
All right, we'll do the wretched lifestyle because he's a hermit.
Yeah.
He didn't need anything. We'll fill in the physical characteristics later. Hair color, eyes, skin, weight, all that.
Yeah, we'll get some random generators. We don't want to get bogged down in too much of that.
Yeah. And let's see, equipment.
Yeah.
Great axe or martial weapon?
I would imagine an axe.
Yeah. All right. 2 hand axes or a simple weapon?
Hand axes?
Okay. All right. And then we're just going to wield everything so it shows up
On the character sheet.
Yeah. All right. There's old Folus.
Nice.
So that's going to show
Folus.
up in our characters, and then you're going to convert that to an actual monster stat block for an NPC, right?
Yes, that's what I'm going to do. I want to go in, create a monster, put all of this information in there, and we'll get Folus out there for people to use. So by the time I'll probably do that first and then work on getting the episode out so that when the episode's out, you can just go like, "Oh, I can go check out Folus." Which will be sometime tomorrow because I'm done after this for a while.
That's fine. I feel like honestly, this could be a whole nother thing. Like if we sit down and build an NPC every once in a while together, just like really flesh them out a little bit.
Yeah, like get into the details, the backstory, all that stuff.
Yeah, and then you know, just like, okay, here's this awesome NPC, go use him. He's on D&D Beyond, or DMs go both, or whatever. Well, I'll look into what that looks like.
Yeah,
post content up there.
We could put it on the wheel, but it never goes away. Like, you know, typically after we do a topic, it comes off the wheel. We can have create an NPC up there, and then just every once in a while we'll have an NPC creation episode. So it'll be like, oh, we're gonna make an NPC. Here we go.
Yeah. Or I'm cool right now, especially for summer. I mean, I'm not saying you have all the extra free time, but you know, if we want to hop on and do something separate, keep this very topic based, and then me and you get on every once in a while and like roll something up. Or
I'm down for that too. If it works out to where we're both free and we're like, hey, let's go do a thing.
Yeah. I mean, once I'm off work, I'm usually good to go for whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, be on the lookout for Dolus on D&D Beyond very soon. Last order of business, Travis, before you do your send-off.
Yeah.
We need a topic for next week.
We do. Maybe I'll research the right one this week. Hey, I will say researching the that race of elves,
The Shadowkai.
Yeah, I learned a lot about the Shadowkai. I learned a lot about the Shadowfell, the Raven Queen. a whole lot of cool stuff.
Oh, yeah, they were a really cool race. So when you were like, I researched them, I'm like, dang, buddy, I'm sorry, we got to talk about these Simic hybrids now because they're really cool. All right, I dropped you the link in the Discord chat.
Can you send it to me on Facebook?
Oh, yes, I can send it to you on Facebook.
I
Let me
lose your
go to-
face if I go open the Discord chat.
I see. Whoa.
Jack says, I love the Shatterkai. Yeah, I do too. Now, I didn't really know too much about them.
But then we also didn't know a lot about the Simic hybrids until we did an episode on them.
Yeah.
Not a terrible race, we have learned.
All right. Let's, yep. Can I just, is that going to work? Okay. That's not too bad. All right. Let's see.
Remember, you gotta, shuffle them.
Do I? They're
Yep.
not shuffled already?
Well, you shuffle them every time.
Okay. All right. So where's the shuffle button?
You hit the 3 little dots.
That's right. It's coming back to me. Shuffle.
Yep. Jack says, I keep trying to get my players to the Shadowfell. Oh, man, dude. If we get to the topic to where we're talking about specific campaigns that we are running / have run, I'm doing the whole thing in the Shadowfell right now. It is so much fun.
Yeah, like my brain was cooking up an awesome campaign about the Raven Queen and the Castle of Dreams or Memories or whatever it's called, Memories.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I was into it earlier, reading that stuff. All right, here we go, Trey. Kicking it off, spinning the wheel. Blood Hunters.
Blood Hunter. This is a class. This is going to be interesting because this is Matt Mercer's class that he created from the Critical Role lore.
Yep.
So we get to get into all of that. I've actually played one of these before, so yeah.
Okay.
Jack says, "Oh please, the Shadowfell is perfect for creepy." Yeah, I'm doing a super creepy campaign right now. We'll get into it and all that another time. But yeah, we're gonna talk about Blood Hunters next week, guys.
I'm excited. I had one of my characters play a Blood Hunter in one of my campaigns, the last one that ran forever. So I'm a little familiar, but I never actually. I got to the point where I was like, I'm just going to trust you that you know what you're talking about, because I don't have time to look into that.
Right. The magic of the Blood Hunter is very unique, and I have to give props to Mr. Mercer for his creation.
Yeah. So excited about that. So come back next week and listen to us talk about Blood Hunters. It's a good episode. Wow, we ran over an hour. It didn't feel like it.
Yeah, that's why I love this show, and not bad for not even researching the right topic.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm Travis.
I'm Trey.
And this is Two Beers Play, and where we talk about everything games, tabletop RPGs, anything nerdy. Thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit, talking about our favorite hobby, pastime, passion, tabletop RPGs. Go find us on YouTube if you're not listening to. If you're on Spotify, go find us on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, go find us on Spotify. And wherever you're at, give us a follow, a sub, a like, a star rating, anything that would help us get this out. This is a lot of fun, Trey. I think this is probably some of the best stuff we've done.
Yes, I'm greatly enjoying this. There's something so cathartic about just sitting here and nerding out with you for an hour every week. It's so great.
Yeah. So go do that. Also, go support us on Patreon if you really like our content and even want to get your topic discussed, jumped up on the list. That's the place to do it. So go become a patron and let us know what you want to hear us talk about, and we'll be happy to do it. And I think that's all I got, Trey.
Yeah, sounds good, man. I got stuff to do tomorrow. It's going to be great. We're going to get the episode up, and we're going to get old Dolus out there.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you, guys. And until next time, peace out.
Later days.